Hey friends, the year of 2020 is approaching. Have you started planning for this special year? And in this video, I'm going to share with you the method I use to plan for my marketing campaigns in the coming year to make sure everything is aligned to the plan and most importantly, to achieve our goals. I've used this exact method to grow my photography business in 2019 for 40%. And stay tuned, I'm going to share with you exact how I did it. Well, many people will ask the same questions. How do you see yourself in 3 years, 5 years, or even 10 years? How are you going to achieve those things in the next 3, 5, or 10 years? What are the implementation steps you have to ensure this will be done? But honestly speaking, friends, I'm not sure if I am too short-sighted or what, but definitely I can't see myself where I am in the next 5 or 10 years. 3 years sounds more realistic to me, but I prefer a shorter term of plan to 1 year to ensure I really focus to get things done, to achieve in the next 12 months. Well, to me, anything that is beyond 12 months or 18 months, for example, would be over my imagination. So why am I looking at shorter term like 12 months? I have to be honest that while you might want to plan ahead, many times a lot of unexpected events might happen and that may change our destiny and overturn our game plan at all. So there are many U-turns in between, so whatever you have planned for the next 5 or 10 years would no longer be applicable. So to me, it is more realistic to plan for a shorter period up to maybe 12 months, and that would be ideal for me. So friends, how do you plan for your next 12-month marketing activities? Today I'm going to share with you what exactly I have been doing and how it was done since a number of years ago as I started my photography business. There are 3 main key criteria when you plan for marketing campaigns. Well, first of all, it must be achievable. To me, there's no point to put something that is ridiculous in the plan that everyone knows it is impossible to get it done. We have to be realistic about what we want to get, so it is okay to stretch ourselves, but just to be mindful that we have to be realistic. A good plan must be measurable, so we must be able to do comparison and to measure with our stats, data or information collected after launching those campaigns. So this is to allow us to use them for the next campaigns, to fine-tune, to improve, to change, to get it done more correctly, to surpass the past performances and so on. So for example, if you achieve, let's say, $1 million revenue last year, this year you would like to put a better effort, more efforts in terms of getting a new height for another 30% growth extra in comparison to last year. So this is a basic measurement we can use to start comparing, to do some comparison to help us to grow for the next coming year. Last but not least, a good plan should be repeatable. So if you happen to run a successful campaign, it shouldn't stop just here. It should be something that is replicable for the next season and not just one-time wonder. So after having these 3 criteria, we will go next to start looking into a plan. Okay guys, this is what I do to start planning a session for my New Year's marketing campaigns. First, I will paint a big picture for overall result I want to achieve in the new year. For example, if last year I made 500,000 sales and this year I want to surpass last year's and aim at 20% growth and stretch at 50%. That means my target will be at 600,000 and of course a stretch target will be at 900,000. So to achieve this figure, I have to divide these targets into 4 quarters in 1 year. And out of 4 quarters, there are some peak quarters of course, and some are just normal quarters and some low season from the quarters. So we need to identify which of these quarters have high potential to hit more and which is one that is not. So there are months we could hit beyond 75,000 for example. Some months could reach about 60,000 and some perhaps may stay at 50,000, and let me also guarantee you that perhaps there might be a month or 2 you can't even break or reach 50,000. But as long as we break down our targets into 12 months, plan ahead, understand which month would be the catalyst to help you to get more sales, go for it. And at the end of the year, once you average up the monthly sales achievement, adding them together, you'll still be able to reach your annual target. So in my case, for example, I have identified first quarter of the year as my most peak season, so this would be where I want to hit more for my target. This quarter, I aim to hit at about 200% of the normal set target as I ride on the season high. I have to make sure I hit more than the stretch average out of the low season that is coming in the middle of the year, for example. And this is achievable for me because my first quarter of revenue was 40% of the total 2019 revenue. Second quarter and the last quarter will serve good quarters for me too, despite the height might not be as high as the first quarter. So these two quarters may just offer me, let's say, 130% to 150%. So I could anticipate the low season in the month of July to September, in which actually from my past record, I had hard time to meet the minimum percentage. Well, breaking into 4 parts for your revenue, you may want to start identifying each of these quarters, which month would serve best to hit highest among all. These months would be the star months to bring in most income for you. Let me quote an example in my case again. Let's say in the first quarter, my star month in 2020 would be January, and it's the biggest festive season celebrating Chinese New Year, in which I expect most bookings. I had a total 30 bookings during 1 week celebrations for family portraits for the last 2 years in a row, and last year, first quarter itself, I had about 53 bookings for family portrait sessions. So by hook or by crook, I have to ensure I plan really well to get as low as 30 bookings in the coming January. Then in the second quarter, Mother's Day is a catalyst based on the past years, and it is time to plan for this special day for all mothers as early as April. So while I might still take more bookings in that month, Father's Day in June is good too, despite it will be slower compared to May. So during the slow months in third quarter is when I do a lot more promotions to raise cash in these months. At the same time, I will plan ahead to prepare slow months to fill my schedule. So in 2019, my slow month wasn't typically slow because I made a point to take more jobs for corporates, for example, events and commercial, despite I took some days off in August. The key strategy for slow months is to diversify a little from your normal campaigns, and last quarter is where I reheat the marketing momentum to enter the rest until Christmas. So once you break down your campaigns into different months and have clear figure for each month to achieve, the goal seems to be smaller and easier for you to achieve as well. We may face some changes, of course, over the months. That's for sure. But once you have the plan laid out properly, the changes may seem insignificant while you look ahead to plan for other marketing campaigns. So before we end this video, let me summarize the key takeaways to plan ahead of the year 2020. Number 1, first of all, you must be realistic, be able to measure your past performance to compare for the next performance, and it must be repeatable. Number 2, have a big picture how you want to achieve the target. Break them into quarters and then into months, into smaller pieces, so that will the figure seems to be more realistic to us. Last but not least, identify the peak months, ordinary months and slow months to strategize your campaigns. Be sure you plan ahead, leverage on the peak months to maximize your revenue, and find alternatives to run different campaigns or take other jobs that is not in your focus to fill in the gap. Let me know how do you plan for your marketing campaign in the comment box below. Let me know what is your biggest takeaway from this video. Do like this video, tag 2 of your friends and share it out. Last but not least, let's plan now and let's achieve what we want to achieve for the year of 2020. I wish you best. My name is Shan and I catch up with you very soon.